Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Farzy Show here at the Steven Singer Studios. Thank you for your patience. Had a couple of things we had to put together at the last minute there. Much appreciated. Plus, the Flyers just had to go into a shootout last night, and I was at the game. Look at this. How about this? Now, I've had many of these. Now, you can't see it because my lighting's terrible. But this is the first credential of the Farzy Show. The Farzy Show, a credential member of the media. How about that? Huh? I've had plenty of these throughout my career. Never one that meant more than this one right here. I even had the Flyers nice PR lady sign the back of it for me. Allie, she's awesome. Thank you, Allie. Yeah, this is the first Farzy Show credential. So I went to the Flyers game last night. Claude Giroux, my man, Pots and Pans, led things off very nicely. Closed things out very nicely as far as regulation went, forcing overtime and then the shootout, and then that was it. Then the Flyers just didn't have it. And as Elaine Video likes to say, they lost the skills competition last night. So we'll talk some Flyers a little bit later in the show. The 76ers get a really nice win out there in Denver. And speaking of the Sixers, some news coming across the wire late last night. Some trade talks involving Ben Simmons. The Detroit Pistons have surfaced. We'll go over those with Keith Pompey in his story at Inquirer.com. Hat tipped their PJ, producer Jim. We were discussing it right before the show. We'll get into that conversation today. We'll also show you a couple of excerpts from the story itself on Inquirer.com. And, of course, it is a Football Friday, and today I'll be joined by the awesome Devan Kaney of Live Post Game Show. I have the pleasure of doing the show with her and Derek Gunn after every Eagles game on the Jacob Media YouTube channel as well as 6abc.com. So Devan will be joining us to talk some Eagles football and what she's feeling going into this matchup coming up against the New Orleans Saints. And some big news regarding those New Orleans Saints. I was holding out hope. Here's one thing. I never understand the people that are like, hey, you know that team? Like when you're looking at a player's injury and you're like, oh, wow, is he going to play against your team? Is he not going to play? Oh, I hope he plays because I want to beat the best version of that team. I've never been like that. I've never been one to think, hey, I really hope that team we're about to play is better. No, no, thank you. I'd rather than be as bad as humanly possible. Never root for injury. Just a player to not play for whatever reason. That's it. So we'll get into that conversation as well. But the first thing I'd like to get into today, ladies and gentlemen, is that Bryce Harper is the MVP of the National League, winning his second MVP award. It getting announced last night, MLB Network, obviously, and a very emotional Bryce Harper talked about why this was so emotional, or excuse me, why this was so important to him. Here is Bryce Harper with his family on the MLB Network shortly after he was named MVP of the National League.
Very excited. I got so many people to thank. Of course, my family and my wife. This year was tough. Starting off, getting hit in the face. It was definitely a tough couple days for me, tough couple weeks for me, trying to get back, and was able to get back. My teammates were incredible throughout the whole process of trying to get me back and things like that. And, I got to thank, my teammates, the city of Philadelphia, our fans, John Middleton, the whole Middleton family, my chef, Dan. I never went.
There he is.
I never went to bed hungry.
Who thanks their chef? The chef is there in the shot too with everybody. Okay, all right, sure. But how about thanking the city of Philadelphia? You know what's great? The city of Philadelphia thanked him right back because last night when I was at the Flyers game, they put Bryce Harper up there on the old Fanavision. The old Fanavision. It's like the most amazing scoreboard ever in any indoor arena. But they put him up on there on the Jumbotron, and the place goes bonkers. They put Bryce Harper up there. Congratulations, Philadelphia Phillies right fielder Bryce Harper on his second MVP award. Bah! The place went nuts for him. I tweeted out the photo. People were just loving it, and it's really awesome. I mean, look, the Phillies haven't made the playoffs in a decade, and that really friggin' hurts. But to at least get an MVP award, the runner-up for Cy Young, it doesn't cushion the blow, but I'll say this. It definitely gives you pride to be a Phillies fan. It's a good feeling to have your guy up there, which sounds obvious, and it's no consolation prize. And I saw some people saying, oh, we haven't made the playoffs in a decade. At least we have this. And it's like, I don't see it as a consolation prize, but it's definitely something where you look at your pinstripes, your red pinstripes, and go, hell yeah, those are our guys. And you always want moments like that. Now let's go get them some help, fellas. Please, Dave Dombrowski. Go out there and get these guys some more help. Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper as well. Let's see how that goes over. And a lot of people, of course, excited to see that last night. It was all over social media, so that was great to see. One of the other things that I thought was really interesting about this whole scenario with Bryce Harper is how outspoken he's been and how much of a leader he became this season. Now, he's always been outspoken. Like, he's never one to be shy. But he's always outspoken when it comes to signing JT Realmuto, whatever it is with the front office. When he talked himself about how the farm system needs to improve. Next thing you know, you got changes galore. With a new director of development, player development. You have a new assistant GM coming in here. Like, Bryce Harper speaks and the front office listens because John Middleton is going to make things move for his man Bryce Harper, his $330 million man. You love to see it because Bryce Harper speaks a lot of times the same words that fans are speaking. And guess what? Fans in the city, as we've said many times before, know a thing or two about sports. So, yeah, sometimes it's good to listen to the fans. Hey, look, Nick Sirianni listened to fans. All of a sudden, they're winning football games, 2-1 in their last 3. All right, that's pretty exciting. Before we break it down a little bit further with the Eagles, this is the story I was referencing earlier, Inquirer.com. PJ was telling me about this. Here is Keith Pompey's story from Inquirer.com. You see that name up there once again? James Harden, Jeremy Grant, latest Ben Simmons trade targets. You can also add Kelly Olynyk in that. You can add Sadiq Bey, who we know from Villanova. Other guys that the Sixers are interested in when it comes to trading Ben Simmons. But this little nugget was really interesting. Look at this. Also from Keith Pompey's story. After all the trade talk when it comes to Kelly Olynyk and Sadiq Bey and what they could be doing in that scenario, there's still this. This is from Keith Pompey's article. However, several members of the front office are keen on the idea of keeping Simmons this season and pursuing Harden from the Brooklyn Nets for a sign-and-trade deal, according to multiple sources. So, keeping Simmons and pursuing Harden from the Nets for a sign-and-trade? Huh. I mean, you can read that a couple of different ways, but one of the ways to read that is they have Simmons stay here with Embiid and get Harden. How exactly would that work? Whatever it is, I'm here for it. Let's have that conversation. If you can keep Ben Simmons here and somehow get James Harden, what? Daryl Morey, you wizard, you magician? Yeah, all right. I'm all ears. Maybe you're looking at a trade sooner rather than later, which is the first time I've ever said that and actually believed it. I thought this thing was going to be dragging on until at least the new year, possibly even the trade deadline. We'll see where it goes. Both sides dug in, as we well know. And I was reading this last night. Ben Simmons, because he's being fined again while this road trip's going on, the 6-game road trip, he can be fined up to $2 million while the team is on this 6-game road trip. By the way, great win by the Sixers last night over the Nuggets. I mean, really, Philadelphia's just had its way with Denver. I'm really thinking about it this week. First, the Eagles get the nice win, and then, of course, the Sixers going. And I'm going into my seat last night at the Flyers game, and a guy that I've known for a few years that I would see in the media box and all that stuff, the press box and all that stuff, he says, oh, man, Sixers are going to be lucky if they don't get blown out by 40 tonight. And I was like, yeah, it's true. And I'm like trying to follow the Sixers because they started at 9. Flyers were, I think, in the third period around that time. And I'm following the Sixers, and they're up 10 early. Tyrese Maxey had like 9 points in like 4 minutes. He was just off the charts. And yes, I did bet his over last night, 16.5. Thank you, Tyrese Maxey. Keep on working, brother. So all of a sudden, I look at the Sixers were up 20 at one point. And I go, hey, my man, so much for them being down. And he's like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. And I couldn't believe it either. I was here for it, though. Seth Curry went off for him last night. Tyrese Maxey went off for him last night. Tobias Harris, a solid game for him last night. Andre Drummond continues to be a gift that keeps on giving when it comes to needing a backup center for Joel Embiid. He has certainly been that guy. And about Batsy getting into this game, announcing his presence with authority, as they like to say. And one of the things I thought was really interesting, after last night's Sixers game, Doc Rivers came out and talked to the media, and he just talked about how much Bassey is a young player, obviously rookie and all that stuff, but he talks a lot for a rookie. Rookies don't talk. He's like, rookies never talk. They never say anything. But this guy is like calling out protections. This guy is calling out screens. He's calling out switches. He is giving defensive assignments. Like, he is not a bashful individual. And to see him come out last night, especially when you're going up against, the NBA called him the MVP. We all know he's not, but Jokic, whatever. He goes out there last night and is trying to D up on Joker. So, hey, good for that kid. More from him. Looking forward to it in the not too distant future. So Sixers get the win last night as well. Flyers lost in overtime, as I said. I did think this is interesting. If you didn't see the Flyers game last night, this was pretty wild. About 10 seconds left in the third period. Flyers are down 3-2. Claude Giroux scored the first goal of the game for the Flyers, and then right here he scored the last goal of the game for the Flyers. Claude Giroux gets the shot from top right circle to the goalie and winds up, shoots through traffic right in the back of the net. I had a chance to talk to Claude Giroux after the game and I asked him about that particular play, that particular shot. And it was a situation where he said he was just trying to put the puck on net, wasn't necessarily going for the goal, hoping for a deflection, whatever it might have been. And sure enough, it just went right through the Red Sea for the goal. They forced overtime in the win. If there was going to be a game I was going to go to, it was going to be my first hockey game in a long time in an arena, as opposed to just watching the games on TV. That was the game to go to as far as excitement. Unfortunately, they ended up losing, but definitely great to see and hear. Great to see everybody stand up at a goal. Love that. Great to hear that the foghorn go off after the goal. It gave me chills last night. It was really, really, really awesome. So, hey, congrats on the point, I guess, for the Flyers. Wish it was more, but congrats on the point. Eagles, Saints, kickoff Sunday, 1 o'clock. Football Friday, folks. Let's roll into some football conversation. I like the Eagles this weekend. I really like the Eagles this weekend, which means you should be afraid because my picks have been terrible when it comes to this football team. I look at this Eagles team, and I see a team that is finally finding its own identity. And this has become a running theme over the last couple of weeks. And what's that identity? It's running. And it's interesting when you listen to some of the national pundits out there that talk about a lot of the same things that we talk about as far as not running the football enough and not having a balanced enough attack and relying too much on Jalen Hurts to do everything in the offense, on how much that's changed over the last 3 weeks, because they all see what's going on. It's hard to ignore 25 runs in the first half of a football game. In today's NFL, where it's all passing all the time, everybody's pass happy, it's hard to ignore that. And now with Miles Sanders coming back and looking good to play in this game coming up on Sunday, now with him coming back, you can't ignore the idea that this team could present to you the three-headed monster of the good old days, if you will. You could have Jordan Howard out there. You could have Boston Scott out there, Miles Sanders out there, all for the same game, all contributing, all doing big things for this offense. And if they do that, they will beat this Saints team. Now you're going to have to mix it up as opposed to just, run the football down their throats, because I don't think they'll be able to do that per se against this Saints team. But let's not forget that everyone said, oh, well, you got to focus on the Bucs. They're coming in here with a great run defense. They're coming in here with a great defensive coordinator and Todd Bowles. They stop everybody's run. You can't really run it against them. They ran the ball in the second half. They had the most success in the game in the second half. So, yeah, you can run the football despite what the numbers say. Plus, you also can't forget about this for a second here, folks. The Buccaneers going into that particular game, yes, had a very good run defense. There's no denying that. I'm not disputing that. Best in the NFL. But when you look at the numbers, this is where I always like to tell you, numbers don't lie, but they sure as hell deceive. The Bucs are beating up on everybody by the time they came in here to Philadelphia. You think a lot of teams are running the ball on them? No, they're passing to try to catch up as quickly as possible. So, yes, their run numbers are going to be a little bit skewed because of it. Now, this Saints team comes in here after facing a Tennessee team that was just missing Derrick Henry, so their run game wasn't up to snuff. So the Eagles will still have opportunities to run the football. And as I've been saying, really since the start of the season, you still have to present, no matter what the defense is giving you, you still have to present the best version of yourself. And if that is running the football and having a more balanced attack, maybe not to the tune of 20 to 30 runs in the first half, but at least try to give some balance there so not everything is on Jalen Hurts, then yeah, that's probably the best idea. And even if you got to run against 8 guys in the box sometimes, you still got to do it just to make them think that you could do it. I'm not expecting, just as going into the Broncos game, I didn't expect them to come out run heavy. But, man, they did, and it worked. against pretty good run defense as well. Pretty good defense in general. I mean, you're talking about a top 10 defense last week in rush yards, top 10 defense in passing yards. They really did on both sides. So when you look at this particular game, the Eagles need to go out there, be the best version of themselves, do what they do that makes them the most comfortable going up against a tough defense like this and exploit their weaknesses. It's going to be a little bit bigger challenge this week. You're not going to have a guy like Devonte Smith knowing in the corner that's going to be on him like Patrick Surtain, as well as he knew Patrick Surtain. Marshawn Lattimore, pretty good corner. Definitely going to have to be aware of where he's on the football field if he's going to be following Devonte Smith around. I really want to see this. I fished a wish last week and said, just give me a screen to Boston Scott. Let's see how that goes. They did get a screen to Boston Scott. It got him a first down. All right, didn't get him the 60-yard touchdown that I was hoping for, but still got him a first down. One of the things I'm going to have a fish a wish here for is that Quez Watkins gets back on the board with a huge reception, whether it's a touchdown, whether it's a 70-yard gain, whatever it might be. I think Quez Watkins gets back on the board in this game. I think they're going to be focused big time on trying to stop and stop and contain Devonte Smith. I think he might be able to get away with one when it comes to Quez Watkins. So I'm going to cross my fingers with that. Last I saw, Dallas Goedert still in concussion protocol as of yesterday. So we'll see how that develops later on today. See whether or not he'll be able to play in this particular game against the Saints. I have my fingers crossed for that. But one thing that I thought was interesting, and I just saw this yesterday, we look at yards per attempt a lot as a quarterback. Rarely do you look at yards per completion. And yards per completion, this is interesting with Jalen Hurts. For all the people that want to say, oh, I can't throw the deep ball. He's actually got 14 career starts. This year, he's completing, let's see. He's got 11.7 yards per completion is what he's averaging, which is top 10 in the NFL. I would never have guessed that. 11.7 yards per completion, top 10 in the NFL. New Orleans, one of the worst in pass defense when it comes to yards per completion. So hopefully the Eagles will be able to exploit that. Did I have that quote up the whole time? No, that I just popped that up? The Keith Pompey quote? Thank you, PJ. That's on me, by the way, folks. That's my button pushing right there. It's got nothing to do with PJ. Just so you guys know. That's what I want to see from the Eagles. I want to see some diversity. Obviously, when it comes to run and pass, we can say that almost every week. But I also want to see Quez Watkins get involved in this game plan again. I feel like he goes away way too often in this offense when he's got that quick strike ability. I want to see the three-headed monster this week. I know a lot of people are rooting for that. I'm one of them. The other thing, as I was saying earlier, I never look at a team and say, oh, man, I want to beat the Cowboys when Ezekiel is playing, like beat them at their best. Like, no, I never understood. Anyone's like, oh, I hope that team that we're playing is better. What? So on that note, here is Ian Rappaport of NFL Network giving you the latest injury report when it comes to the Saints and a key member of their offense that they'll most likely be missing in this matchup. Here's Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network.
Alvin Kamara not at practice today for the New Orleans Saints. He is battling an MCL sprain in his knee. Was at practice yesterday, so seemed to be maybe heading in the right direction, but a little bit of a step back today. Not practicing. That obviously does not bode well for him playing Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. But that was not all. Both tackles were not at practice today either, according to reporters on the scene. Teron Armstead, who's battled a knee and shoulder injury. Ryan Ramczyk, who is battled a knee injury, also not there. And then do everything quarterback / tight end / special teamer / whatever. Taysom Hill, he has a foot injury, no practice today or yesterday. So it does seem like on some level the Saints are going to be shorthanded going into their game against the Eagles.
Oh, that's like the way that cuts out with the Siciliano. Hey, I never root for injury, and I'm certainly not basking in injury. But if one player is just not going to play, that's a pretty damn good player, like Alvin Kamara, for instance. Yeah, I'm all about it. If they're not going to be the best version of themselves, that's what I'm rooting for. Certainly not injury. Hopefully the Eagles can take advantage of that. We all know Jameis Winston's on IR, and Trevor Simmons have been filling in admirably. I will say a lot of his numbers come up late in games. The perfect example of that is his first start since taking over for Jameis Winston, which was against 2 weeks ago against the Falcons. Falcons lost last night, by the way, so another loss to a team in front of the Saints and the Eagles in the standings in the NFC for that final wild card spot. So this is another opportunity for both teams to try to take advantage of that, but obviously we're rooting for the Eagles here. But Trevor Simmons is a guy you can certainly get to in the backfield. Very serviceable quarterback. He's not going to make a whole lot of mistakes. Had that big fumble against the Falcons in the fourth quarter before rallying everybody and getting him back into that game 2 weeks ago. So we'll see how that all plays out. But still a serviceable quarterback. I'm not looking at this like, oh, Trevor Simmons sucks, so the Eagles are going to win. Not necessarily looking at it like that. I'm looking at it that the Eagles are playing their best football of the season. This is the best time to play a team that maybe you're not as familiar with, though just by happenstance, you remember, as we talked about yesterday with Zach Berman, this is the first start of Jalen Hurts' career against the New Orleans Saints last year. Looked pretty good in that game. Hopefully it looks really good in this game tonight. And I can't stress enough the excitement I feel when I listen to people like even Nick Sirianni or his offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, or even just Jalen Hurts speak himself, how excited it is just to hear people talk about the maturation process of Jalen Hurts. I am hoping after a solid game last week, and here's the other thing. Last week's game, one thing I didn't really touch on because I don't like really paying that much attention to opinions that I just so vehemently disagree with. But people were like, oh, what? Because he had a good first half, everyone loves Jalen Hurts now? Like, no, because he did exactly what you needed him to do to win. And I'm not grading him on the same level that I'm grading a guy like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. I'm grading him on as a guy that we're still getting to know as an NFL quarterback, as a guy who is trying to climb that ladder into a franchise quarterback role. And I am rooting for him to be that guy here in Philadelphia, and I still think he can be that guy. Last week was a step in the right direction for Jalen Hurts, a huge step in the right direction for Jalen Hurts. And people started all the scuttlebutt when it came to Dan Orlovsky's quote from earlier in the week, talking about how Jalen Hurts is starting to establish himself as the Eagles' franchise quarterback. I detect no lies. Because if a guy is going to continue to improve, a young second-year quarterback is going to continue to improve, only having made 14 starts, then what other projection would he be on other than potentially becoming the franchise quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles? If he was terrible, we'd be talking about Gardner Minshew. If he was playing himself out of that conversation, we'd be like, why did they trade Flacco? You know, that's, by the way, he's going to start for the Jets. Good God, what a dumpster fire that is. So I do like the Eagles this week. We'll get into the official prediction coming up in just a minute. But right now, before we get to Devan Kaney on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my good friend Devan Kaney, I do want to tell you about my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Folks, do what I do. Go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer, fully stocked for the holiday season. A lot of back orders and all that stuff. Not a Steven Singer Jewelers. The man is ready to go. Steven is giving every other jeweler yet another reason to hate him. Steven Singer Jewelers has the #1 gift this holiday, diamond stud earrings. And Steven is fully stocked with the most beautiful, best value, real diamond studs anywhere. Choose a great pair of Anita diamond studs earrings. They're just beautiful. Under $270. You got to check that out. If that sounds familiar, that's because that's the same price as last year. The perfect price every single time at Steven Singer Jewelers. No sales, no discounts, no BS. Steven didn't jack up the price from last year. No. Same price as last year, just because Steven Singer wants to take care of you. And also, these diamond stud earrings, flawless to the eye, near colorless. They come with a full lifetime trade-in guarantee from Steven Singer. You can trade up your diamond studs anytime and receive exactly what you paid towards a new pair. That's unbeatable, folks. It's a full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee, making it no-risk shopping early for the holiday. Go now to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price every single day. IHateStevenSinger.com. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line and catch up with Devan Kaney to see how she's feeling going to this weekend's Eagles-Saints matchup. And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my co-host from live post-game show, along with Derek Gunn, who's out like gallivanting around Milwaukee. Who apparently he's the first person to ever gallivant there. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. She does a fantastic job on the live post-game show with my friend Derek Gunn and I. Devan Kaney joins the show. Devan, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mark. I'm just basking still in the glory from the Eagles win. And it's so sad yet funny how I allow this team to affect my mental health. Like, it is truly crazy that it puts me in a better mood, not just for a day, but like the entire week after they win. And it happens so rarely that I'm trying to just fully, embrace it and feel all the positive vibes.
I'm right there with you. And whenever somebody brings up something to that effect, I always remember my buddy Stones, nickname in college. My buddy Stones, he really liked this girl. He went out with this girl a couple times, and then she totally just left him high and dry. And I was trying to console him, like, dude, sorry, that happens, whatever. And I remember in the middle of him, like, basking in his own sorrow, he looks at me and goes, hey, did the Phillies win today? Like, in the middle of it. And it was like, that affected his, that would have made a little bit of a difference in his day. And I was like, yeah, man, they won. He's like, oh, okay, cool, thank God. It was just like that little alteration to his attitude. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the Eagles have certainly given us something to be excited about over the last 3 weeks. I mean, they're 2-1 in their last 3 games. So all of a sudden, you're looking at a winning record over the last 3 games. They got a lot to prove still in the season. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, Jonathan Gannon, obviously. But what is your feeling right now? Can the good vibes keep on coming? I'll ask you right out of the gate. Can the good vibes keep on coming? Can they get a win against this New Orleans Saints team?
I hope so. And I think they can absolutely get a win. I think it's going to be a really telling game. On our post-game show, we always talk about adjustments, improvements, consistency in this learning season. And I think this is a true test. I feel like every week we say, this is a must-win game. This is a must-win game. But this really is a must-win game. We haven't won at home yet, which is just absurd. Eagles, please do the city of Philadelphia justice and get a win. We're kind of starved for one at this point. But B, also just telling us, standings and everything aside, if they actually are the team that we saw play against the Broncos on Sunday, because finally, I felt like they outcoached the Broncos coaching staff. They outplayed them on both sides of the ball. And that's something that we haven't seen much, if at all, this season against any other opponent. So now the test is, can they keep it up? Can they continue making those adjustments and forming a game plan and outcoaching our teams moving forward? And that starts with the Saints. And I have confidence. I hope they don't let me down, but it's the Philadelphia Eagles, and we know that that's what they tend to do. So I try to keep my mind ready for anything. All
right, I'll ask you this question about confidence as well. I feel like we've turned this corner with Nick Sirianni. I feel like we've turned this corner with Jalen Hurts. Can we say it about Jonathan Gannon yet? Do they need 2 good games in a row by this Eagles defense? Do you think we'll get that in this game against the Saints? Where are you in terms of confidence that Nick Sirianni is learning on the job, just as Nick Sirianni has, or Jonathan Gannon's learning on the job, just as Nick Sirianni has, as well as Jalen Hurts?
Well, actually, funny, a quote from our postgame show that I said and then reposted on Twitter. A lot of people agreed with me, but I also had many trolls coming out and attacking me for it because I said I'm not letting Gannon off the hook yet. Kind of just what I said. I don't think we've seen enough. I think we've seen 2 games where he's made the right calls, but one of them was against the Lions. So, I mean, I know we always hedge it. It's just the Lions.
The Lions, right.
So does it even count? Right. So, and he's the main person I'm thinking of when I say, can we see this team keep up those adjustments and continue game planning for these specific opponents? And I think this game is going to be really telling, probably most telling for Jonathan Gannon. I mean, it's not like the Saints offense is super potent, but it's still going to be a test to see if we can improve because our defense has just been completely lackluster up until Sunday. I think we finally saw what they could be when they have the right scheme and game plan in place.
Who has been the most pleasant surprise, the biggest surprise to you so far this season?
On either side of the ball, like coaching?
Either side of the ball. Either side of the ball, sidelines, punter. I know you love that punter.
Who? Sipas. I always want to call him Sipas.
I can't help Sipas. Like I can't help it either. It's like Sipas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to say. Yeah. I would say I don't know if it's pleasantly surprised, but I am so happy for Jalen Hurts, especially after that last game. I know that's an obvious choice. Actually, I have a runner-up after this, but I just want to I've always been a Jalen Hurts fan, even when he's had bad games, because as we've talked about on the show, his mentality, his leadership. And then we saw we saw glimpses of what he could be. And then I felt like against the Broncos, we really saw him at his full potential, or not even full potential, but what he's like when he's completely on and playing at his best for a full 4 quarters. And I hope that he keeps that up, because I cannot take another quarterback controversy in Philadelphia. And I really can't take drafting another rookie QB and seeing if he develops. And I think Jalen Hurts deserves this. So I'm always pleasantly happy, I'll say, when he does well. Pleasantly surprised, Landon Dickerson, because he came in, he was injured. He didn't really I don't think he played at all in the preseason, came in and I know he had a kind of a rough start, but then he got the hang of it really quickly. And he's a rookie. Like, I'm loving what I'm seeing already. And I'm so glad that he's on this team. I'm excited to see what he can do with us moving forward.
Well, I'll say this much. For as much as we bang on Howie Roseman, that Howie Roseman guy, at least you're looking at 2 picks in Devonte Smith and Landon Dickerson. They look like they're going to be very good for a long time in the NFL.
Yeah. And Devonte Smith, I remember, like, that was the most excited I've been. I think most Eagles fans have been since we won the Super Bowl, when we finally made the right choice and got Devonte Smith. And I don't regret that choice at all. I know that's happened with a few of the Eagles' early picks in the past.
One or
but
two.
I know Landon, just a few. I know Landon Dickerson, there was a lot of pushback about him and kind of people saying, like, why do we need him? That's a dumb pick. And you know, Jason Kelce might retire soon. People are getting older. So I was always okay with it. And now I think he's proving that it was the right choice.
Certainly. And I know I had a lot of questions about his injuries. He had a lot of injuries in college as well. I had a chance to interview him one-on-one on this show some months ago. And he just said, I don't know what all this talk is about. I know that's my past, but I'm ready to go. If more than anything, I'm more ready to go than ever because I have that chip on my shoulder. And I said, you know what? This is a guy you can root for. At least we have that. Then he also told me that I got a parking ticket in Philadelphia. And I was like, one of us. He's one of us. Let me ask you this, Devin, because you talk to the fans often. You have your interaction, and you're much more active on social media than I. Why the hell couldn't we go straight to the let him hang out philosophy as opposed to like starting with flowers? Why flowers first? And then let him hang out. It seems like the let him hang out thing would have been received a lot more positively.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all I'll say is this coaching staff, this team, whether they win or they lose, they certainly are giving us a lot to talk about. They're giving not just the media, the fans, a lot of memeage, a lot of videos.
Whoa.
So I'm not complaining.
No. Hold on. Was that memeage?
Memeage, yes.
Memeage. Like a lot of memeing, the act of memeing.
Yeah, memeage.
Did you just make that up just now, or am I just learning on the spot right now?
I don't know if I made it up. I highly doubt I made that up. I'm sure I picked it up somewhere.
That's like the first time I ever heard the word adulting. I really swear. Yeah. And I was just talking about this the other day with Hugh Douglas was on the show, and I was just adulting. The first time I heard that, it was like, wow, memeage, social media coverage. I love all of that. I'm using it anyway. I'm sorry, interrupted. Proceed.
Well, no, I think to sum it up, the flowers, the fertilizer, I feel like Nick Sirianni, I haven't seen too many graphic tees lately. But it only really works if they win. If they lose, then it's embarrassing, it's ridiculous, and we all make fun of him. I think when the flowers fertilizer thing came out, like, that was a low point. It was just like, we became a national joke. Everyone, not just Philadelphia, was laughing at him. So I think as long as you can back it up, use whatever, let them hang out, whatever you want to say, whatever gets the job done, go for it. Just get the win.
I feel like that just would have hit it off a lot easier for Philadelphia sports fans. Like, flowers, these guys talking about flowers. That's my typical Philadelphia sports fan impression. Here you go. So we've covered Gannon, we've covered Sirianni, we talked a little bit about Jalen Hurts. How about this story that came out recently? Jalen Hurts apparently is in contact with Peyton Manning, and apparently Peyton Manning sends him film, sends him tape, and all that stuff, and they text often. He has him as a mentor, more or less. I was pleasantly, like, we knew about the Cam Newton thing. I didn't know about the Teddy Bridgewater thing that apparently they keep in touch as well. But I did not know he was keeping in touch with Peyton Manning, and the Manning family says he's got a good relationship with him. That's got to make you feel good as well.
It does. And, Jalen Hurts we don't really know who he is, off the field. And I respect that. He's such a quiet, cool guy. And he doesn't, obviously post anything, doesn't really interact, like get in fights like Fletcher Cox does on Twitter with fans. And I respect that. So, I had no idea. I did see the Peyton Manning little tidbit. Another fun fact that came out about Jalen Hurts was that he was the one who petitioned to do the jersey uniform combo that they did in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about a leader. And I was not a fan at first. That caused a big stink on Twitter. And once I saw them come out, I was like, oh, that actually works. So not only is he a good quarterback, he has a good sense of style.
They look like a bunch of waiters. They look like a bunch of waiters to me. They're just a black pants and a white shirt. And it was just like,
okay, when you put it that way, I guess.
I mean, that's how I thought. When I first saw it, I was just like, they're like, sure, it's slick, but like, either they're on their way to a wedding and forgot their jacket. Like, I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, like that was just what jumped to my idiot brain. And then the second thing that jumped to my idiot brain was, why can't Jalen Hurts just tell Jeffrey Lurie, hey, you know what? I like those Kelly Green jerseys. Those little silver wings. Where's that message?
That is a really good point. Do Kelly Green next, please, Jalen Hurts.
I will say this, and I almost said between you and me, but I'm using this on my show. I've seen Don Smolinski, Eagles president, and Howie Roseman in the same room answering questions in like a big corporate function where they're doing a live like Q&A, right? And I've seen them get asked about Michael Vick. I've seen them get asked about shady players in the past, and I don't mean Shady McCoy. I mean like shady behavior, TO instances, right? All that stuff. And they're like, answering questions, fine. And then somebody asked about Kelly Green, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know we were going to talk about serious stuff. Well, do you want to take this? Should I take this? They're like terrified, which just only leads me to believe what more people have told me over the years, which is that just Jeffrey Lurie hates Kelly Green. We're never getting it back.
Yeah. I mean, he hates the run game. He hates Kelly Green, but clearly he budged on the run game, so maybe he'll eventually budge on the Kelly Green. He's a man of changes this season.
You got to think of it. If Nick Sirianni's coming to you in your office and that man in that attitude and that like over the topness, like how do you say no to that? It's like a kid asking you for an ice cream, even though they already had like 10. It's just like you can't say no to it because the way they ask is just so damn sweet and nice. And I imagine that's how Nick Sirianni would try to sell the run game to that Jeffrey Lurie character.
Oh, absolutely. You know how I used to. I kind of stopped doing this when I lost my faith there in Nick Sirianni for a bit. But the Ted Lasso comparison, if you've watched Ted Lasso, I picture him bringing like biscuits or something to Jeffrey Lurie, like, hey, boss. Hey, how's it going? So I was thinking maybe we could run the ball.
I now will forever have that in my mind of Jeffrey Lurie chomping on a biscuit, just thinking, where the hell does this Sirianni guy get these biscuits? It's so delicious. Devin, what else you got going on? The live post-game show, obviously, with me on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, as well as 6abc.com after every Eagles game. You, me, Derek Gunn, John McMullen joins us from the stadium as well. We got our own billboard, so that's cool. We do. What else you got going on? I saw you were just in Toronto with the National Lacrosse League. What's going on there?
I still work for the National Lacrosse League. We haven't played literally since before the pandemic because most of our players are in Canada. So there was a whole issue of, crossing the border. So I was finally allowed back into Canada. So that was exciting. Hadn't been up there, forgot how nice they all were. But our season starts, I think, December 4th is the Philadelphia Wings first game at the Wells Fargo Center. So everyone should come out. I'm going to be sideline reporting for them this season. And I also host the Believe in Eagles podcast bi-weekly. So tune into that and then follow me on social media at Devan_Kaney on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Wow, that was quick.
Devin, if you haven't found this out about me yet, I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I mean, that's how that works.
True pro.
Devan Kaney, great catching up with you. But real quick, last thing about going to Canada and stuff. I went there pre-pandemic, but it was the first time I was there in like 20 some years. Mm-hmm. And 20 years ago, they were awesome and super sweet, super nice at the border. Mm-hmm. The most recent time I went, which was about 4 years ago, maybe, they were like really mean. They were like, what are you doing here? Maybe it was because I was coming over from Detroit. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I was going through the Windsor Tunnel. Yeah. It
was probably that. I will say it was funny going there. They are tough at the border, but I thought it was because of COVID. Like they just question you. You have to get a specific type of test within a certain or a certain time frame. And then coming back into the States, they're like, yeah, whatever. Just come in.
We know that we're not preventing anything going on south of Niagara Falls. So, Jess, you do you on the way out. Do you have a little place called Swiss Chalet? Are you aware of the Swiss Chalet?
No. Should I know that?
I've heard Canadians rave about it. It's like their Boston Market, except it's a lot better than Boston Market.
Yes. No, I have heard of it. That when you said it, I was like, wait, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I have heard of it. I've never been there.
The guy at the border, the little army dude, he was like a Canadian fella. He was like, "Hey, why are you in Canada, eh?" He didn't say "hey," but we did better. And I go, "Well, dude, I'm gonna get lunch." And he goes, "Where are you going?" I go, "Swiss Chalet." And he like cracked a smile and goes, "Yeah, that place is pretty awesome." So what are you doing in Canada? I was like, "Literally lunch. I just told you." Anyway, so that's how that went. Devan Kaney, great catching up with you. 2 times I get to talk to you in 1 week. I'll talk to you on Sunday after the Eagles 1 o'clock kickoff against the Saints on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, as well as 6abc.com for live post-game show. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Devan Kaney. Devan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm not kidding you. Keith Jones told me about that Swiss Chalet place in Canada, and it is amazing. Josie's like, "Hey, get the extra gravy." And I'm like, "Get the extra gravy." He's like, "Get the extra gravy." So, okay, I sit down and get the extra gravy. And the lady came over with a little thing of gravy. And I was like, "No, I was told to ask for, like, extra gravy. My friend told me it would be life-changing. And this is real." In the most Canadian voice ever, she looks at me and goes, "Sorry, I don't know about that." "Sorry, I don't know about that." And I'm like, "Just give me the more gravy." And she brought me over like a bathtub of gravy. And it was, I'm telling you, folks, if you ever get a chance to go north of the border, Swiss Chalet is where it's at. Crush that. Have it all day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Place is absolutely fantastic. It's like, I'm not going to sell it to you with this description, but it's the best possible way I can do it. It's like a Denny's meets Boston Garden, or Boston Garden. Wow, that's a throw. Boston Market. It's like it's like that if they merged into one, but were delicious. There we go. My thanks, Devan Kaney, joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Speaking of Rothman Orthopaedics, when you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at rothmanortho.com. That's rothmanortho.com. Also, want to check out BetQL. If you want to get the advantage over your sportsbook, you need to download the BetQL app, the only app you'll need to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. And they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props as well. If you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for you to do your own research. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news. They even have a leaderboard so you can track your own success. And oh boy, you can have a lot of success with BetQL. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now and go to the BetQL app and download it for yourself and make all the smart bets. How about Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com? My man Pots and Pans, Tony Cavada, doing a fantastic job. 2-pound tomahawk steak. Delicious. Enjoy that. Find Pinot Noir from Cavada Cellars Wines as well. From his family to your table. Enjoy that, especially when you're partying at the 10-person, 12-person, 15-person party table in the back. That rotates for big parties. That's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. Steak and Maine in the heart of Northeast Maryland. It is fantastic. Check out steakandmaine.com for more information. Voted #1 place for steaks in America by the Food Network and the Travel Channel as well. They have so many things you can do there. They're not just the steak. They had freshly prepared sushi, fresh seafood. They got a casual bar and patio, upscale steakhouse. This place is amazing. Check it out, steakandmaine.com for more info. How about the great people of Windview? Thanksgiving next week. What? That was fast. You want to break the monotony of the little family get-togethers while you're watching a little Thursday football, a little Thanksgiving football? Well, make sure you download the WinView app and challenge a friend, a family member, whoever it might be, to a WinView challenge. It's the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who knows the most about sports? It's not a sports book. It's not a daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans, and you can still win real money prizes. So download the WinView app right now and have yourself a good time. Also want to tell you about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Let's jump into our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. What's up with the chat, everybody? Nice to see you. Sorry again for our tardiness this morning. That's on me. I take 100% of responsibility. I do a better job putting my minutes and my show in a better position to be on time. How about that? Let me get this out of the gate because I saw this just a minute ago, and it's from our buddy John Cheeseborough. This is a more recent thing. I'm not starting at the top. I'm changing it up on you, folks. Gotta watch me. Anyway, John Cheeseborough, this is a hot button issue. I'm going to see if I can find it because some of the other things have commented. So many people have commented. Here we go. John. Lurie's been in favor of bringing back the Kelly Green uniform, which is why the Eagles had been campaigning for alternate helmets at other owners' meetings over the past few years. John, that is what Jeffrey Lurie has told us. You are correct. That is what Jeffrey Lurie has told us. However, this is to Jeffrey Lurie, John, not to you. I don't believe you, okay? I don't believe Jeffrey Lurie. And here's why I don't believe Jeffrey Lurie. Because I've been told by multiple former players, that Jeffrey Lurie just hates it. The Luries, his ex-wife, Christina Lurie, hates the Kelly Green. They did it one time. And here's why that whole helmet wrap thing is complete BS, because it has to match the same green as the jersey. No. When the Eagles wear, if you notice this, when the Eagles wear their black jerseys, if you notice, the green in the V-neck of their jersey is different than the green in their midnight green helmets. It's a little off. It doesn't match. So when Jeffrey Lurie's like, oh, you have to have it matched because of the rules, and we don't want to have, what was the decals? You don't want to have the wrap on the helmet. You don't want to change that because it's a safety issue with the league, and that is real. You can look that up. That's real. But when he says because it has to match, no, it doesn't. You guys that already don't match green when it comes to the jersey and when they wear the black jerseys, the green in the helmet. I think, are they wearing black again this weekend? The green in the jersey doesn't match the green in the helmet. So Jeffrey Lurie, I know you hate the Kelly Green. In the words of my great uncle George, you ain't fooling me none. You ain't fooling me none. You're damn right. So yeah, and plus, like you see all these other uniform changes all the time. People didn't start asking for Kelly Green like 2 minutes ago. It takes like 2 years for a uniform to be approved. Hey, you've owned the Eagles for a little bit more than 2 years there, Jeffrey. Damn you. Anyway, but I do like the idea of him eating biscuits with Nick Sirianni. That is pretty funny. John does lead it off to the chat. Teams building the defenses. Yes, they are. Benny, good morning. John, hello again. Benny, hello again. Dan Schwartz, good morning. April, good morning. What's up, everybody? Mark, Gabe, what's going on? Luigi. Luigi, let me tell you this. If there's going to be one person to say the Devan Kaney show in the chat, and the people just covered up the names in the chat and said, hey, who amongst your chatters would say this? I'd be like, oh, Luigi's in this morning. And it's Luigi. What's up, Luigi? You thirsty bastard, you. Let's see. Dan's checking in. Mopar think he get the damn interview already. April needs Sealski sucks shirts. Is this because somebody was it JC or Mopar? Who was offering to buy me shirts? Outside the studio, I'm not even kidding you. I have 10 shirts, 15 shirts that are all of light color. Because like I feel like in a studio, like you just need to wear a light color shirt. And plus I got the black, what do you call this? The soundproofing, the egg crate material. You like, I got that right there. So like if I'll blend in, if I wear, like I wear a lot of black. And that's not because like I'm in mourning, right? That's not because I love Johnny Cash. That's because I'm getting fat. And in the words of Brian Regan, one of my favorite comedians, it beats working out. These are my getting fat clothes. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Gabe, what's going on? Nice to have you. What the hell? It's 2021. Fat shaming is highly frowned upon, but I want to lose weight, so shame away. Dan, you look great. You look great. When I saw you in that baby diaper that you tweeted out there, you look like $1 million damn dollars, brother. Mark just throwing in a random Sealski sucks. I didn't see Mike at the game last night. I did not see Mike. There you are, Luigi. Nice to see you again. Mopar, just kidding, Mark. What are we just kidding on? We speak volumes. React, just kidding. I just know that you rarely ever have to say to me, just kidding. I am reading everything in the chat like it's in jest or sarcastic. Just so you know. Mopar, good morning. April says to Mopar, you must have a job. You must not have a job dealing with the public. Scoozy. Let's see. There is no denying it's weird that Benny is back on the PJ babysitting Sealski's kids. John Cheeseborough wants time to work on Sealski-isms. I don't know. I think we stick with the Barnett-isms. They were pretty golden. Hello, children. Hello, Rick. What's going on? April, hello again. Don Vito. Claude Giroux is back. You know, Claude Giroux, I was thinking about this last night. The guy gets 2 goals. And I was thinking, you know how we always say, oh, you just work hard in Philadelphia, man. They'll love you forever. Claude Giroux is probably the most underrated athlete possibly ever in our city. Now, you might say, well, if he's so well-rated, then how come he doesn't win the playoffs? And a lot goes into that. And I look at Ron Hextall's rebuilding years as a lot of years that we were wasting there with Claude Giroux in prime Giroux years. Plus, you went to a much more defensive style when you had a guy like when you had Chief here, when you had Craig Berube here. Peter Laviolette's system was a lot more up-tempo. Alain Vigneault's system is a lot more up-tempo, so that's good to see. It's, I think, the better version of Claude Giroux. This year's team as a whole seems like they're a lot more aggressive. Cam Atkinson, the best case example of that. But with Giroux, like, this guy plays every night. He plays every night, plays his ass off every night, and is, like, of the last decade, is, like, one of the leaders in points over the last decade, and works his ass off. And people were like, oh, that guy sucks. I'm like, wow, where are you getting that? Like, he might be the only person that you could say, oh, if you just work hard in Philly and you play well, they'll love you forever. He might be the only person that you could just go, well, he does both those things, but I still don't like him. Like, what the hell's the matter with you? I love G. Plus, last night, I will say, he and I was walking into the media dining area. And let me tell you, it had been a long time since I was in the Wells Fargo Center for a hockey game, as I said earlier. It had been even a longer time since I was in a press box. Or media dining. And 2 things. 1, I forgot how much the coffee sucks. And I'm not a coffee snob. This is just terrible coffee. I'm just letting you know. And how great the popcorn is. Oh, man, the popcorn's so good. But as I'm getting off the media elevator, I'm walking into the meeting area in the bowels of the stadium of the Wells Fargo Center. And there's Sean Couturier and Claude Giroux playing horse or pig. I don't know, some version of that game. Because they put a hoop up in the Wells Fargo Center. The people that don't know this, they put a hoop in the wall. They didn't put like a whole backboard up. It's literally just a basketball hoop drilled into the wall 10 feet high. Anyway. All right. So he and Coots and G were playing horse or pig or whatever the hell it was right before the game. Gotta love it. That's how they get the blood going, folks. Benny, you're a diamond stud, Farzy. Thank you. Feel like PJ, Don. I hope Boston Scott gets majority of the carries on Sunday. It's quite possible. We'll see what kind of shape LaShawn McCoy is in. Luigi, weather. Sean, hello, nurse. April, did she light the pumpkin candle for the interview? You know what, April? That's great. That's a poll. So April catches the post-game show that Devin and I do with Derek Gunn, and every once in a while, Devin will blow out a pumpkin candle, signifying the end of the show. Anyway, Sean, what's happening? How are you? Ben Simmons. I see what you did there. Welcome to the chat. JMC, what's going on? Ben Simmons, hello. Alyssa, what's going on? Good morning to you. Mopar, don't forget I know people. Deshante, what's going on? Julian, Julian. Julian, I don't need your pity. Hello. It says, hello. Hello, Miss Kaney and Mr. Farzetta. That's the way at least I read it. John, still remember seeing Landon Dickerson doing cartwheels at his pro day. How awesome was that? April, Mark, come on. What did I do? JMC, Farzy has a whole closet full of shirts, the same shirts like Homer Simpson. I'll tell you what, I will be wearing a different shirt. I just got a text message while we were running the interview with Devin that I'm going to be doing Fox 29 today. So right after this, I'm going to run over to Fox 29 and do a hit with Gary Cobb and Alex and Mike. And I'll be wearing a different shirt. So don't miss that. Adulting. Oh, God. Yeah, that's terrible. Shante, hello again. Ben Simmons, Alyssa. Mopar, Alyssa is my younger sister from another mother. And you know how guys protect their younger sisters. Good for you, Mopar. Julian followed you guys, yeah. Following Devin, that's good. Mike, what's going on? Headline grab, Farzy hates mean Canadians. Yeah, I don't care. Go ahead and cancel me. If you're a mean Canadian, just know that you're a huge disappointment. Because every American that goes to Canada is like, they're the nicest people in the world. Imagine if one mean Canadian ruined the whole perception. By the way, real quick, on that note, the Chargers game, I forgot to tell this on the show. I'm in South Philly a couple hours before the game. I took my in-laws down to 9th Street for Anthony's Coffee, 9th Street. Love Anthony's Coffee on 9th Street. And I take my in-laws down there, and there's 3 guys walking around in Chargers jerseys, and they look completely lost. And I know that at 9th Street, the Italian market can be a little intimidating to outsiders. So I was like, hey, fellas, what's going on? You guys looking for something? And they're like, oh, yeah, we were just looking for a bar. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. And I go, on a Sunday, I go, yeah, there's 12 steps down up the street here, but I don't think they're open yet. And they're like, yeah, everyone's been telling us to go there, whatever. And I said, did you try Villa de Roma, which is right there because they have a bar. They weren't open yet, whatever. So I tried helping them for like 5 minutes. I was trying to help them out. And they were like, wow, man, we didn't expect people to be this nice. And I'm like, what are people telling you about Philadelphia? They were like so taken back that a Philadelphia person was helping them find something to do. But hey, whatever I can do to help. John, with Devin and Serena, Mopar Mopar wouldn't even use words. He'd just grunt angrily. John, that's a good one. Old York Road. Boston Market still going strong in Abington? Really, Julian? That's interesting. I think the Boston Market in Doylestown, well, it might be a CVS now? I don't know. Anyway. You guys are just popping. Larry, what's up, man? Craig, welcome in. Do not cancel Farzy. No, that's the thing about being your own boss. It's like, yeah, all right. Who are you guys going to complain to? Me? Damn you, coffee. I'm not a coffee snob. I am definitely not a coffee snob. That's for damn sure. I just have my espresso in the morning. And there you go. Thanks, everyone. Henry, what's going on? Thanks, James. What's going on? Oh, James, that was an awesome night, man. James went to a comedy show for Claude Giroux's foundation that I hosted a couple of years ago. That's I told you guys a story before about how Claude and I got married around the same time. And I had hosted an event for Claude's charity, the Giroux Foundation, and Claude and I started talking there, and we got engaged around the same time. And then I saw him a couple of months later. No, it was about a year later, actually. And he came up to me and said, hey, how's the wedding planning going? And I was like, oh, yeah, man, no, my wife's just dealing with that. She presents options. I make decisions. That's about it. She does all this stuff. And he's like, oh, no, man, you got to get involved. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I did the flowers. I made sure the arrangements for this, that, and the other. I was like, you really like this wedding thing? And he's like, oh, yeah, man. He's a wedding planner. Claude Giroux, and he's not scoring hockey. He's not scoring goals. Loves wedding planning. Go figure. Thanks, everyone that's commented on the show today. You guys are awesome. Much appreciated. You guys are fantastic. You know, I love you. Thank you so much. Let's get to our morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Yes, James. Claude Giroux was hands-on with his own wedding. Yeah, it was a good impression. It was a terrible impression, but thank you. So SkyMotorCars.com. I already mentioned this. The Sixers won, which was great. That was nice. They beat the Nuggets. All right, cool. Eagles prediction. Here it is for you. The Philadelphia Eagles will take my advice. Quez Watkins, bold prediction, 60-yard touchdown reception to Quez Watkins will happen in this game. And that will help the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the New Orleans Saints by a score of 24-20. Game's not going to be that close. Trevor Simmons will make it that close later with a little bit of a rally. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. 24-20. Eagles take this game. Guys, a lot of... Wait a minute. Hold the hell on a minute. Mopar with a Howard the Duck reference? You've outdone yourself, Mopar. Dan Schwartz, everybody. Dante, thanks so much. April, thank you. John, James, Henry, Alyssa, everybody. You guys are just fantastic. Appreciate you guys. All the conversation, all the back and forth. Vince, thanks so much. Thanks so much for the back and forth throughout the week, everybody. Mike, did I mention you? Luigi, of course. You guys are Ben Simmons. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for the interaction this week. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure you guys follow the show. Also want to give a shout out to our new associate producers for the show, Brendan and Ellis. You guys are doing a bang up job on YouTube, all our social media platforms as well. PJ, producer Jim, thank you so much. Jim Hyden, great week as well. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. My name is Marc Farzetta. Hey, more of me, but in a different shirt in about 40 minutes on Fox 29. Don't miss it. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Go Birds.